Let's continue this conversation. We have with us John Loudon, former Republican state senator in Missouri, and Brent Podolsky, columnist for The Hill. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Hey, great to be with you.
Good to have you. So I want to start with you, John, and this conversation about Mueller's future. Considering this reporting from CNN that the first charges have been filed and will be unsealed in the next few days. Fox News is reporting that Governor Chris Christie and Congressman Trent Frank said on Fox, or suggested that Mueller should step down based on potential conflicts of interest. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we talk about we were going to talk about civility, incivility, whether Trump's debasing the country. Yeah. I think an investigation of this nature that distracts the president from doing the work we elected him to do debases the country. I think and especially when it's being done by somebody with a clear conflict.
But the whole purpose of the Mueller investigation is, again, looking into this whole issue of Russian meddling into the 2016 election. And when you speak to people within the national security realm, they all agree that Russia did, in fact, influence or meddle in the U.S. election. So, you know, what's your thought on that? You're saying that Mueller should step down. Do you feel that at this point he's just unable to do that job of looking into whether the Russians meddled and whether there was any collusion?
Well, look, certainly. Why do we not want foreign countries engaging themselves in our political system? Because we don't want them to influence the actions or compromise our president. We now know that Russia played both sides. We have Mark Zuckerberg to thank for exposing that. Russians meddled. They meddled both ways. What we're worried about is horrible deals like the uranium deal that the Clintons did that is an actual harm to the country. That is far more important to the average American than if some campaign custom was violated.
I want to get Brent in here, but you're saying that the uranium deal is far more dangerous to the country than a foreign entity interfering in a national election. I mean, Brent, let me get you to respond.
I'm saying a foreign opposing nation. I don't want to call Russia an enemy because sometimes they're with us, sometimes they're against us. But a foreign country took our interest in our uranium, and it's now theirs. That's damaged us.
And the election meddling doesn't damage the U.S.?
No, not the meddling in and of itself. It's wrong, but I don't see the damage.
Brent, I'll let you respond to that.
Russia did not play both sides. Russia has launched an attack against American democracy. Russia had tried to elect Donald Trump and destroy Hillary Clinton. Russia has pitted race against race and religion against religion in the United States. So has President Trump. I love this country so much, I can't find words to describe it. And it pains me that any Republican could sit here and say, untruthfully, that Russia played both sides. Putin hated Clinton. Putin supported Trump. Period. End of discussion. Case closed. Now we'll proceed to the evidence of whether Putin had any allies anywhere in Trump circles, which we will let the evidence speak for itself. Robert Mueller is a good man, a great man, a Marine, a man who believes in the law, a man who was fighting on the American side against the Russian side. And I'm proud to stand with every Democrat and many Republicans, and I include former President George Bush, George W. Bush, who I never supported politically, gave a heroic and important speech. Senator John McCain, a war hero. And no, the president may be favored troops that were never captured as POWs. I say that is an infamy to say about American POWs. And Senator Bob Corker, who gave a courageous speech standing up against the debasement of America that he says correctly, which I wrote about in The Hill, that Donald Trump does.
Brent, let me read just a portion of your piece that you wrote in The Hill. Trump debases the nation, echoing, of course, the comments earlier in the week from Senator Bob Corker about the president. It debases our nation when the president praises foreign dictators who murder and torture their people and impugns the character or patriotism of Americans he treats like enemies on a list that is longer than the darkest dreams of Richard Nixon on his darkest days. John, your response to what I'm sure you've read the piece in preparation for this conversation.
Well, first on the on Putin hating Hillary, nothing says hate like paying your husband $500,000 to give a speech in Moscow. So the idea that Putin hates the Clintons is clearly a myth. And Facebook, the Facebook ads are clear evidence that Russia played both sides. Anybody reads the story on Facebook knows they played both sides in that. And as far as the debasing the nation, look, I think the nation can survive Donald Trump's tweets. What it can't survive is a foreign nation controlling our uranium and other critical resources. And so, you know, I read this whole article and I think the whole thing, it's like,
I have to stop you because national security experts have said that there is no national security threat to that deal. 9 agencies agreed to approving that deal because there was no national security threat. In fact, Russia cannot export any uranium that they produce in the United States because they don't have a license to do it. So where is the threat?
Well, when you've given up control of a critical national resource to a foreign entity. I mean, so whether they're exporting it or keeping us from using it. Hey, Bill Clinton locked up our low sulfur coal reserves, and he was paid by the Riyadi Group in India to do that.
You continually,
though,
these are critical resources. The influence that, or the interfering from Russia in the election, which all of the country's intelligence agencies say happened, but you say that's not a threat to the country. I've been given the rap several times here. John, Brent, thank you both for being with us. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.